Welcome. This is Leah Bales with the Soul Big Life Show. Today is part 3 of game-changing word swaps. Very simple word habits that most of us have, most of us use that actually get in the way of creating the life we really want and the impact that we know we're here to create. So just by changing these little simple words, by being more aware of it and playing with it, we can begin to make a big difference and create more possibilities in our life. Today's word is always. Notice when you use the word or the phrase, I always. Often I'll hear people use that for things that they really don't want to be happening in their life, but maybe it's kind of a long-standing pattern. And they'll say, I always do this. For instance, I always attract men who turn out to be untrustworthy. Or I always feel guilty when I say no. Or I always say yes, even when I want to say no. Or I always let people take advantage of me. This comes in many, many forms, and it's really important to look at when you're using the word always. Is it something you want to continue? Is it something you want to keep doing? Because you do have choice. You can at any moment say, I'm choosing to do this differently. And the way you do that is just by very lovingly, very kindly noticing when you use always for something you really don't want to keep doing. So here's a shift for it. Taking one of those that we just said, I always say yes, even when I really want to say no. Maybe this is something you've done a lot of your life. Maybe it's something somebody in your family, your mom, your dad did. Maybe it's something you feel like people expect you to do. It doesn't matter. You get to choose. Instead of saying always, try saying in the past, and you could even make that gesture, it's behind you. In the past, I used to say yes, even when I wanted to say no, or I used to have a pattern of that. That's the first part. I used to say yes, even when I wanted to say no. And now I'm learning new skills and I'm learning to do it differently. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have completely resolved it. You just begin noticing for yourself when you say that, I always, because when you say I always, and it's something you don't want to be doing, it's like you're almost giving yourself a life sentence. You're claiming it. You're staking your whatever you call it, your stake in the ground, putting your stake in the ground and claiming it and saying, yes, this is what I do. Keep that for what you really want. The things that you're like, yes, this is what I want to do. I do this so well. Go ahead, use the word always if that feels good. And be really careful not to use it for the things you don't want to keep doing. You're not a victim of your past. You're not controlled by your past or other people's past that you've sort of inherited. You get to choose. And every time you notice yourself using that word, I always attract men who turn out to be untrustworthy. In the past, I often did attract men who turned out to be untrustworthy. Now I'm beginning to have more awareness. I'm learning more skills. I'm learning to notice warning signs, whatever it is. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to be fixed. I'm learning new skills. In the future, as I go forward, I'm creating something new, really powerful. I always becomes in the past, I used to, or I had a pattern of, I often did. Now I'm learning something new. I'm using those skills to go forward with intention, to create what I really want to create, to have the impact I'm really here to create, and to have a joyful, free, and impactful life, however you say it. So if you have questions about that, give me a call, leave me a message. Notice here, you can write your comments below and you can ask me, I'm having trouble figuring this one out. How would I say this differently? I'd love to help. Thanks so very much. Great to have you here. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for game-changing, life-changing word swaps.